In the quiet atmosphere of a Kazan suburb, where the evening air gently enveloped every corner, lay a small village. Paved streets were steeped in tranquility, and the sky, painted with the hues of the setting sun, majestically stretched across the horizon. In one of the houses, Anya Mikhailova watched from the window as her husband Dmitry prepared to leave. "Are you going to be long tonight?" she asked with a soft smile as she set the table for dinner. Dmitry, standing before the mirror, carefully adjusted his shirt collar. "Meeting the guys at the bar," he replied. Anya knew perfectly well that evenings spent with Dmitry's friends rarely ended on time. Victor, Sergei, Maxim, Pavel, Igor, Alexei, and Roman, they formed an unbreakable circle that was difficult to penetrate. Later, as the village settled into an even deeper silence, Anya decided to visit the bar. She had long been accustomed to the place, a small room with low ceilings, where the air was thick with the smell of vodka and cigarette smoke. It was an informal gathering spot for the village men. Upon entering, Anya immediately noticed that the atmosphere was livelier than usual. Dmitry, at the center of the group, looked embarrassed. "Anya, just in time!" Victor exclaimed with a playfully familiar tone. "Dmitry was just talking about you." She moved closer, feeling the gazes of those present. Dmitry smiled, but there was something unusual in his evasive look. "What's going on here?" she asked, frowning and lightly tapping Dmitry's shoulder. "He lost a few games, nothing serious," Victor replied. Dmitry stood up and took her hand. "Honey, listen. They want you to participate in a small game. It's nothing to worry about," he whispered quietly. "A game?" Anya repeated, crossing her arms. "What kind of game?" "Just a simple task, and then it'll all be over," Dmitry answered. Anya felt an unpleasant sensation in her stomach. "Couldn't you just refuse?" Dmitry looked down. "Victor won't forget it. They're like that." She sighed deeply, feeling her irritation rise. Anya knew Dmitry didn't want to appear weak in front of his friends. "I don't like this," she said. "They said we're going to Victor's house to start." Anya looked around. Dmitry's friends were laughing and encouraging him. A soft creak sounded as Anya opened the black box. Inside lay a neatly folded maid's uniform, a short dress with an apron and lace details. "Is this some kind of joke?" she asked, clutching the box in her hands. Victor smirked, leaning back in his chair. "We said it was just a game. You're not afraid of a little theatrics, are you?" Dmitry, standing nearby, looked away as if the situation didn't concern him. "If you don't want to, no one's forcing you," added Anton, the only one in the company whose smile seemed sincere. But Anya felt the pressing gazes. They weren't asking, they were waiting. "It's fine," Dmitry murmured, noticing her hesitation. "It'll just be over, and that's it." Anya gripped the box tighter. "Show me where I can change." The room upstairs was dark and a little dusty, as if it hadn't been used in a long time. The uniform lay before her on the bed. "You'll just put this on, go downstairs, and serve drinks, that's all," she told herself. The fabric of the uniform was rough. The short skirt barely covered her legs, and the lace elements made her feel awkward. Looking at herself in the mirror, Anya felt uncomfortable. "It's just a game," she repeated, and taking a deep breath, she headed downstairs. The voices quieted as she entered the living room. Dmitry looked up, but his face remained strained. Victor handed her a tray with glasses. "Excellent, Anya, you look perfect for the role," he said. She felt a shiver run down her spine. Pavel was first. Smiled, taking a glass, and quietly said, "Don't worry, it's all for fun." Sergei and Igor complimented her, laughing among themselves, but their words sounded false. When it was Victor's turn, he took a glass, holding her hand a little longer than necessary. "You're doing great," he said, with a satisfied smile. Anya quickly pulled her hand away and took a step back. Anton, the last one, took a glass and quietly said, "You can stop. Don't let them pressure you." Anya nodded. but there was no turning back. "Now you're one of us, Anya," Victor almost sang, sitting back down. She felt her heart beat faster again. "We're not finished yet. The second part of the challenge will be more interesting," Victor continued. Dmitri tried to stand up, but Victor stopped him with a gesture. "You already lost. Let her finish." Music started playing in the corner of the room. It was an old record with a slow dance. "Now you have to dance with each of us," Victor said, staring intently at her. Anya felt everything inside her tighten. "Dancing is too much, Victor." "But you know what will happen if you refuse," he replied. She looked at Dmitri, but he sat silently, as if lost in thought. "Fine," she replied, trying to remain calm. Pavel approached first. "Just a dance, nothing serious," he said, gently placing his hand on her waist. But even that gesture made her uncomfortable. When that dance ended, Sergei replaced him, allowing himself a little more familiarity than was appropriate. Victor was last. His hand squeezed her tighter than it should have, and his breath felt too close. The atmosphere intensified. Victor, completing the circle of dances, pressed Anya into a hug tighter than necessary, his breath hot on her skin. "You dance excellently, Anya. Dmitri is very lucky," he whispered, causing confusion in the girl. Words stuck in her throat and she couldn't answer. The music faded, and as if a salvation, Anton appeared, inviting her to dance. Unlike the obtrusiveness of the previous partners, his movements were soft and delicate, like a touch of the wind. The tension that had bound Anya began to recede. Finishing the dance, Anton held her hand in his a little longer than appropriate, saying, "You did well." In Anton's gaze, the girl for the first time that painful evening caught sincere sympathy and support. "That's enough for today," Victor announced, returning to his seat. But in his words was a sinister promise of continuation. The next day, as the sun painted the sky in crimson tones like an artist, Anya sat on the porch, trying to escape the intrusive memories of the night before. Again and again, lewd glances, unpleasant touches, and Dmitri's oppressive silence resurfaced in her mind. Dmitri himself, like a detached observer, sat aside, idly scratching a pattern on the wooden table. Since morning, he had avoided her gaze and remained silent. "Today we'll have to go there again," he said without lifting his head as if doomed. "Why? Wasn't what happened enough?" Anya retorted, feeling anger boil inside her. "Victor said there's one last challenge, and then it'll all be over," Dmitri replied. Anya looked at him with disbelief. "And what is it this time?" Dmitri merely shook his head helplessly. "I don't know, but if we refuse, you understand what will happen." Victor's house again greeted them with oppressive silence. The other participants of the sinister act were already gathered around the table, like predators awaiting their prey. "Well, here are our late guests," Victor said with a venomous smirk. Anya sat on a chair, feeling Victor's gaze burn through her. "So, Anya, this is the last one. After this, everything will return to normal," Victor declared, leaning back in his chair. Confidence sounded in his voice, but deep down, Anya felt impending doom. Victor leaned forward and, narrowing his eyes, said, "You must kiss each of us." The room froze in stupor. "This is a disgusting joke, Victor," Dmitri finally burst out. But Victor merely sneered contemptuously. "You lost. Either Anya finishes it or the debt remains." Anya looked at Dmitri, hoping he would show a shred of courage and put an end to this madness, but he remained silent, as if he wasn't even there. "Anya, you don't have to do this!" Anton broke the heavy silence. "No, I'll do it," Anya interrupted him, gathering the last of her will. Pavel was first to approach. Embarrassment was clear on his face, and the kiss was quick and awkward. Then Maxim came forward. His strained smile betrayed an attempt to lighten the mood, but Anya felt everything inside her clench with disgust at each touch. Sergei and Igor performed the ritual quickly, avoiding eye contact. It was Victor's turn. He approached slowly, as if savoring the moment, and held his lips on hers longer than the others. Her heart pounded wildly, but Anya refused to break. Anton was the last. He stood, hesitating to take the first step. "It's okay," Anya whispered. Their kiss was different from the others. There was no lust, no mockery, no desire to humiliate. It was a soft and sincere touch that lasted longer than it should have. When Anton pulled away, Anya saw warm care and regret in his eyes. Victor clapped his hands, breaking the silence. "Well, that's it. The game is over," he said. Anya turned to Dmitri, but he looked away. "Can we go?" she asked. "Of course," Victor replied, waving his hand towards the door. The drive home passed in heavy silence. Why didn't you say anything?" Anya asked, unable to bear the tension. Dmitri merely shook his head helplessly. "I didn't know what to do. I didn't want things to go this far." "You let them do this!" "Victor manipulates you, and you don't even try to resist." Dmitri stopped and looked at her. Confusion was in his eyes. "I just wanted to fix things." Anya turned away. "I'm afraid you've already lost me, Dmitri." Late that night, Anya was woken by the sound of a message. "We need to talk," it read. The message was from Dmitri. Anya stared at the screen for a long time, then deleted the message. The next morning, village life went on as usual, but a storm raged in Anya's soul. Neither Dmitri's words nor his attempts to act as before could erase the horror she had experienced. Every time she looked at him, she remembered his silence and inaction on that fateful evening. As the sun began to set, Anya stood by the window, watching Dmitri tinker with his car in the yard. "Are you not going to Victor's today?" she asked, crossing her arms. Dmitri put down his tool and wiped his hands with a rag. "No, I think I don't owe them anything anymore." Anya nodded slowly. "Glad to hear you finally realized." But deep down, she knew that this realization had come too late. Late that evening, her phone lit up with a new message. This time, she instinctively reached for it. It was from Anton. "Anna, are you okay? I saw Dmitri today. He looked off. If you need to talk, I'm here for you." Anna stared at the screen for a long time. Unlike Dmitri, Anton had at least tried to prevent what happened. But could a single act redeem everything else? Gathering her thoughts, she typed a short reply. "Thanks, Anton, I'm okay," and sent it, feeling something important leave her with each typed letter. The next day, Dmitri suggested a walk to the lake, hoping to dispel the oppressive atmosphere. "We haven't been there in a while. Maybe some fresh air would do us both good," he asked hopefully. Anna agreed, though she didn't believe a walk would solve their problems. During their leisurely stroll along the lakeside path, Dmitri unexpectedly stopped. "I want you to know I'm truly sorry." Anna stopped, her gaze fixed on him. "That it happened, or that I didn't break?" she asked bitterly. Dmitri looked away, unable to meet her piercing gaze. "I'm sorry I couldn't protect you," he said softly. His words stung her, but the effect was not at all what he expected. "I didn't need your protection. I needed you to just say no. It was within your power, but you didn't even try," she accused. She turned and walked away, leaving Dmitri in confusion. Later, she received another message from Anton. "You deserve better," but she left it unanswered. Several days passed, and changes began to stir within Anna. One evening, when Dmitri tried to hug her in the kitchen, she gently pulled away. "Dmitri, I think we need to live separately for a while," she said, gathering her courage. He froze, as if disbelieving his ears. "What? Why are you saying this?" he asked, bewildered. "Because I lost trust in you, and in myself when I let this happen," she replied sadly. After a long pause, Dmitri nodded, accepting her decision. "If you think it's better, I won't stop you," he said submissively. When he left, Anna felt she could breathe freely for the first time in a long while. She walked to the window and looked at the night sky. The phone on the table lit up, but this time she didn't rush to it. The night passed in silence, and in that silence, she finally found peace. This story serves as a reminder that silence can wound more deeply than words. Inaction can shatter even the strongest bonds. Anna found herself in a situation where trust and respect should have been her shield, but instead she was left to choose between submitting to pressure or standing up for herself. Relationships are built on mutual support and understanding. When one partner looks away at a moment requiring courage, it leaves deep cracks. This story also illustrates that true strength isn't always found in confrontation, but in the ability to walk away when love ceases to be a safe haven. If you ever face a situation where someone tests your boundaries, remember your worth is not defined by what you are willing to tolerate. True love is mutual respect and the courage to say no, even if it goes against the expectations of those around you.